ever for the benefit of all Philadelphians, noting the stakeholders and partners, state, regional, and local, who are joined with us on today, because it affirms the collaborative and the comprehensive nature in which we in the city of Philadelphia respond to emergencies. In the police department, our commissioner, Kevin Bethel, our fire commissioner, Jeffrey Thompson, our public safety director, Adam Gear, Tara Moore, first deputy in our managing director's office, our water department, represented by Randy Heyman, airport, Atif Saeed, our Philly 360 leader, Kristen Bray, attorney at law, the commerce director, Alba Martinez, our chief integrity officer, Danny Gardner Wright, arts and culture, Val Gay, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, Marissa Washington, our CAO, Camille Duchesset, City Council of Philadelphia, our Sheriff, Rochelle Bilal, our District Attorney's Office, via G. Lamar Stewart, along with the School District of Philadelphia, Oz Hill, our other additional partners, PGW, Seth Shapiro, PICO, Ben Armstrong, Comcast, Bob Merkin, SEPTA, Scott Sauer, District Council 33, Greg Boulware, District Council 47, April Jagetz, our courts, Rich McSorley, the Delaware River Port Authority and PATCO, Jalila Parker, Mike Breslin from Local 22, our firefighters union, AT&T, Nashara Repeto, Verizon, Eric Reed, our Communication Workers of America, Jim Gartler, SEIU, Gabe Morgan, Unite Here, Rosalind Wucinich. All of the partners you just heard me reference are either present today and/or have been in direct communication with the administration in response to this emergency. Immediately after I finish with my remarks, you are going to hear from the City of Philadelphia's Chief Information Officer, Melissa Scott. She is going to provide a detailed timeline to you shortly of what the City of Philadelphia has learned and when. I can remember watching a response to emergency, wanting to know in real time, how did my city respond? You won't have to wonder about that. You're going to hear about those details today, and you're going to hear about what we've done in response to ensure that our vital government operations are all functioning. Our director of the Office of Emergency Services, Dom Morales, will detail OEM's communications through the night and today with our critical infrastructure partners, SEPTA, PGW, PICO, the Philadelphia Water Department, along with all of our public safety agencies. You'll hear from Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel, Fire Commissioner Thompson, and they're going to provide updates on any impacts to our public safety operations. And what we've heard a lot about, but I'm happy that we're going to be able to hear directly from the leader of our Philadelphia International Airport, CEO Atif Saeed, who will talk to you about airport operations and how things are functioning there today. So we are not getting messages about our airport that are being filtered through anyone else. I am also happy to report to you on today that the city of Philadelphia is functioning and handling this IT emergency just like we handle any other emergency that happens in Philadelphia. First things first, our critical public safety functions, police, fire, first responders, 911 calls are all functioning and operational. It's a testament to the men and women and every individual who works for the city. We have the best workforce in the country and, quite frankly, the world, in my estimation, and they're showing that again on today. All city services are being provided. We may be providing some services in limited operations today, but every city department and agency is open for business and services are being provided. All city workers reported for duty today. And again, we want to thank them immensely for their service. At moments like this, as your mayor, I'll be very honest and forthright that this is when you truly find out what our city government is made of. No one is resting. No one is slowing or easing up our response, and no one assumes that everything is fixed. We're going to keep at this until every computer system, every laptop, and every component of our IT apparatus are working exactly the way that they should. That's the City of Philadelphia way, and it's the Parker administration's standard operating procedure, Philadelphia, every day. I'm now going to turn this over to Melissa Scott, our Chief Information Officer, to take you through that detailed timeline of events and our response today. Melissa Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, my name is Melissa Scott, the current Chief Information Officer for the City of Philadelphia. Today, I will walk you through the timeline of events. We were notified 2:30 a.m. of a CrowdStrike antivirus software rollout and update. This was a planned update that had a few flaws in the coding. This was not a cyber attack. Every server and computer that was powered up on our network during the update was affected. The City of Philadelphia employees' systems were completely inoperable, and when they came in and saw their computers, what they saw was that daunting blue screen. CrowdStrike provided a remedy for IT technicians to log into servers and computers individually to delete the update. As soon as this happened, I contacted emergency services to ensure that we were able to continue to provide seamless services. Office of Emergency Management Director Dominic Morales will have more details on the emergency services. Our current situation. IT technicians are deployed to every city department based on priority to install the update and get the city computers and servers back online. We also have made precautions, if needed, being ready to deploy Genius bars in every office building to ensure that employees are able to get their laptops repaired quickly. We also are in the process of training the fire department, Office of Emergency Management employees so they can aid in repairing the city's computers and are currently working to get our computers up again more quickly. All city data is safe and unaffected. Non-emergency computer repairs will continue throughout the weekend to ensure everyone is completely back online by Monday. Finally, a note, phishing scams. Cyber criminals will often try to take advantage of a situation like this. We urge everyone, whether you are a city employee or not, please, as always, be careful in clicking any links that come your way via email, especially anything that looks suspicious. Cyber criminals will take advantage of this ongoing incident and attempt to get users to click malicious links and perform other social engineering attacks. If you are in doubt, city employees, please report all information security issues to itsecurity@phila.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dominic Morellis. I'm the director with the City of Philadelphia's Office of Emergency Management, and welcome to the city's Emergency Operations Center. Frankly, this room has been buzzing since about a little bit after 1 a.m. when, like many of our public safety and 24/7 city services, we all realized something was up, if you will. Here at the Office of Emergency Management, we are fortunate that the city has a 24/7 dedicated watch desk, watching for all types of hazards, whether it's extreme heat, whether it's large fires across the city or supporting our first responders in the street, or technological emergencies like we're experiencing now, monitoring at all times for what is happening in the city, in the region, frankly in the world, that could have an impact on Philadelphia. Shortly around 1 a.m., as I mentioned, we realized that there was an issue. Issues happen all the time, and we have a detailed process to start to go through and understand what extent of an issue do we have. We started to enact our procedures very quickly, called our other 24/7 functions to include police radio, fire communications, to understand if they were experiencing something as well. We learned that they were experiencing something similar to us, and so we started to enact what we call our continuity of operations plan. We didn't know to what extent we would need that continuity of operations plan, but nonetheless, you will not be surprised that, like other public safety agencies, we have a backup plan, and a lot of times there's a backup plan to that backup plan for things just like this. And so I am very proud to say that the Office of Emergency Management, like you'll hear from some of the other partners, did not lose critical service even in that initial disruption. We maintained our critical communication systems, our critical monitoring systems through that initial disruption, through our restoration earlier today, in part to the city's incredible IT services team, and now, and have not had a significant disruption. But that's not where our focus stopped. Once we realized that this was not only something affecting multiple city departments, and then shortly after that, multiple U.S. organizations, governmental, non-governmental, but frankly, there were reports from as far away as Australia and about airlines and all of the other sectors that were impacted. We realized this was a big one. And so with that, we enacted our fuller SOP, as you've heard our mayor mention, our standing SOP, to understand what are the impacts across the critical sectors in Philadelphia and what do we need to do about that. And so our continuity of operations plan went into place. We contacted more than 22 partner agencies, both between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m., again at 7 a.m., again at 9 a.m., again at 11 a.m., and you get the drift about every 2 hours and everywhere in between to understand what is happening to public safety, transportation, health and medical facilities, PICO, PGW, the water department, our nonprofit service providers, federal and state partners, and neighboring governmental jurisdictions. And we've kept that cadence and are maintaining that cadence until we feel like this has fully stabilized and until we can demobilize this emergency operations center. What I'm glad to say is that throughout that process, as was mentioned, we found no critical life safety issues. You will certainly hear about systems that were impacted that made the usual course of business more difficult, but I am very proud to say that the professionals who frankly were woken up at anywhere between 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., working straight through till now, have worked incredibly diligently to make sure that we can communicate with one another, to make sure that we can answer calls for service, and to make sure that what Philadelphia expects, we are delivering on, regardless of the circumstances that we're dealt, whether natural, technological, or man-made. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Police Commissioner Bethel.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you, Dom. I guess I was one of those people waking up between 1 and 5. I do want to thank the mayor for her leadership. As she indicated, fortunately, our 911 system remained up and running throughout this incident. We had no breaks in services. And so we are absolutely appreciate that we're able to continue those services to the community. I also want to remind the community, even though 911, we do have other backup mechanisms in place in the event that we do go down. We do move into a much more a card system, but we are prepared for any emergency that comes forward to be able to address individuals calling into our 911 system. We then turned our focus to some of the more critical areas. One of the critical areas for us was our prisoner processing. As Melissa indicated, we working with her team and IT team, we immediately dispatched our teams out to those areas so we can now report that our prisoner processing system is fully back and operational in our system. That was our secondary critical area. We do have several districts that still have their desktops that are not up, and we're moving through methodically in a prioritized order to get them online. But overall, the Philadelphia Police Department is fully operational. fully up to service the community that we serve on a daily basis. I'm gonna pass it
Thank
over
you.
to
Commissioner, Fire Commissioner. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Fire Commissioner Jeffrey Thompson, and I am happy to report that the fire department remains fully operational to answer any 911 emergencies that may arise. Like so many up here with me, I too received a phone call approximately 6:30 this morning informing me of the possible service disruptions due to some technological issues. Fortunately, as Commissioner Bethel reported, our ability to respond to 911 calls was not disrupted. Our call center was up and running. It was never interrupted, as was our computer-aided dispatch system. So we were able to respond to every 911 call that came in. There was never any disruption to that service. Once we got past that, we turned our attention inward to make sure all of our infrastructure was up and running. We are still evaluating, ensuring that all 63 of our fire stations are operating as they should. We did have some issues with some of our PCs, but those PCs have nothing to do with our emergency operations. They are completely separate. They are mostly administrative. So they may have slowed some of our internal administrative services down, but again, the fire department remains up and running 100% to respond to any 911 emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Atif Saeed, Chief Executive Officer, Philadelphia International Airport. From our first notification around 2 a.m., Department of Aviation has taken proactive steps to identify, isolate, and mitigate any challenges or problems to the operations as a result of this IT outage. All airlines at this time are operational. They are in recovery mode from IT outage right now. As of 12:30, there were 87 canceled flights, 126 delayed flights, and we do expect some more cancellation and some more delays as the day goes on. TSA checkpoints are fully staffing and have been with minimal queues. Most airline ticket counters have minimal queues with a few exceptions. All concessions are fully operational. No adverse impact to parking or shuttle operations at this stage. All systems are functioning. There are some few administrative computers that we're bringing online based upon priority, and we're making good progress on that as well. But I think it is important to emphasize the fact that all critical systems are functioning within the airport system and with our partners. Passengers, generally speaking at PHL, have been very accepting and understanding of the situation as they are told about the event itself and the scale and scope of what we are dealing with. That's the update I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Atif, Fire Commissioner and Police Commissioner. I want to note for the record that our Prisons Commissioner, Resnick, and his entire team are working extremely hard to ensure that the same standard operating procedure that you heard described by each of our commissioners today is being adhered to and/or followed, and we have not received anything different according to what has been communicated to us. One of the things I do want to do today, because transparency is important. While we got the calls at the time that Dom mentioned, I also received some questions of Philadelphia, and I want to make sure that I address some of these questions that people have shared with me. What impact has this had on the water department, Mayor Parker? The response, the water department and water services are functioning normally. The emergency desk is down due to technical issues, but their contact center staff cannot assist with billing questions. Self-service options for bill pay and balance lookups remain unaffected, and their emergency line is up and ready to take your calls. Philadelphia, that number is 215-685 6300, and you press number 1 for emergencies. Again, that's 215-685-6300, and press number 1 for emergencies. The second question, it was in regards to fire, Commissioner. Well, what impact has this had on fire? You have heard the commissioners for both police and fire, affirm how it has impacted them. But because, again, it was a very specific call that I and or my office received, it's important for you to know that we are fully prepared for any kind of fire emergency. Next question, health centers. Multiple questions about health centers. Health centers are open and providing some services, but not fully operational yet. If you can, call ahead. Providers that can access the medical record software via the cloud are conducting virtual visits with patients. And of course, if you're having a medical emergency, you should call 911. Another question, and there was several about this one. What about the Office of Homeless Services? The intake capacity of our OHS intake centers has been moderately affected, but placements are still taking place. Extremely important. Moderately impacted, but those placements are still occurring when needed. What about the Department of Human Services, DHS here in the city? Most normal DHS operations have resumed. However, there was impact to hotline operations for the Child Welfare Office. We are conducting a manual workaround, and the hotline is capable and able to take calls as phones are currently operable. With that being said, we want to take any questions that we have. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know what percentage of computers are backed up?
We are currently working to make sure that all the computers and servers are back up. To my understanding, we have about 90% of our servers. We're still collecting the data on how many computers.
So 90% are backed up?
Of our servers.
Okay.
So we know how many servers are back up. About 90% of our servers. We're still collecting the data on how many computers.
I spoke to some people that were like going by City Hall to get records, that kind of thing, and obviously if systems are down, they were told to come back Monday. I guess, is there any sort of plan or anything you want to tell the community that was trying to get like records or any information from City Hall?
So I want to be clear that all IT professionals and everyone here, all of our departments have been working tirelessly since the morning, and we're going to continue to work tirelessly to do everything that's necessary to make sure that we are operable at 100%. So we are working through the weekend, and we'll do everything that's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Right. In addition to that, I want to note this. Philadelphia, if you're anything like your mayor, and I hope you're not, because I'm a technical dinosaur, when the team was giving me information about the resources available to assist municipal employees computer by computer, I heard them, but I understood clearly when they said we have established a genius bar in multiple buildings for multiple departments across city government. I understood that because I go to the Genius Bar to get assistance and help with my own personal technology. But the transparency that's been communicated to you all here on today is what is extremely important to me as your mayor, and to also affirm that we are not working in silos, and we don't work in silos to address a crisis. The collaboration that you see present here today is what is extremely important. There was another question on, yes, sir.
So obviously this was out of y'all's hands, because it was the system update, but is there anything that can be done, I guess, like to prevent something like this?
So this is our updates when there's no operation during our nights, and when the employees are not working. We continuously do updates. This is normal to do an update. What's not normal is that we weren't able to roll back the code. So normally if something comes out, if it's a patch, if it's an update, we have 24-hour surveillance on all of our systems and our servers, so we know immediately that something's going wrong. Normally when that happens, we roll it back to the original state until we could get the bugs out and figure out what it is. Unfortunately, CrowdStrike we weren't able to do that. The issue became is that we had to actually physically go to servers, to computers individually and delete the update, which that is what is abnormal. But no, this we normally update all of our systems through the night and the morning.
Amazing. Yes, ma'am.
Joanne Pileggi.
Joanne.
59. How are you?
Hi.
Seemingly dodged a bullet. This could have been much, much worse. And I'm sure all of you are breathing a collective sigh of relief that it wasn't a lot worse. And even with all of the professionals assembled here, I'm wondering if the city of Philadelphia and other cities around the country, was there a next level consultant, like super IT level consultant that you were dealing with? Like someone who really knows about code. And I mean, we would think the people at CrowdStrike know what they're doing, and in all intents and purposes they do, but this thing happened. It could have been much, much worse.
No, I think that's a very fair question. The first thing I want you to know, City of Philadelphia, that I am super proud of the technical expertise that you see standing before you here on today. That's why it was so important for me to not rush when determining who would be the individuals managing departments across the city of Philadelphia. You needed to secure the best and the brightest technicians to do the work. That's one. So I have full faith in the experts who are here and a part and representative of the Parker administration. The next thing I want to mention to you is this thing that I talked about that a lot of people thought was just sort of like a couple of big words, but really didn't mean a thing. Intergovernmental cooperation, collaboration, and planning was extremely important. And not just cities across America, but city government, state government, federal government, because this again had a global impact. This, think of COVID, right? There had to be a global response to that pandemic, and this IT emergency was no different. There had to be a global response. So intergovernmental cooperation at the local, state, and federal level. And do we have technicians, different IT firms that the city works with on a regular basis? Yes, indeed. But it was our technicians in-house who were able to ensure that we were stabilized. And for that, City of Philadelphia, I want you to know, as your mayor, because I'm only good, I can't do it alone. This administration can only function and be as efficient as the people who are standing here with me, who lead the departments that provide the service and the workforce that does the work on the ground. And on the day, Philadelphia, we can be proud of our team. Listen, thank you all so very much. If we have any additional questions, we're going to stick around for just a few, and you'll have the ability to submit any questions to us in writing. But we also want them to get back to their job so that they can find out if even while we were standing here to deliver this message, there's been any additional communication that we needed to follow up on. But as your mayor, you need to know whenever there's an emergency, we're going to communicate directly with you so that you don't have to wonder and guess about what's happening in our city. We're going to be transparent. Thank you all so much.